Just a bloke in a bar.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of Bloke in a Bar. I am here with Cronulla's finest. Ronaldo, what's going on, brother?
Nah, nothing bad, just cruising.
How's the body? Day one preseason Monday?
Yeah, it was day one Monday. It's been pretty tough, eh? Like,
Yeah, what was day one like? So much nerves, bro. Fuck.
They got us good. So like, normally you come in, first day is normally easy. Like you just come in, like, get your body moving again. Fuck, they got us a beauty. Had the yo-yo test straight up.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I was just like, that's when we kind of test each other. Oh, who's been doing the work over the break? And I was like, you're not supposed to be doing work over the break, surely not. But nah, it was good though. Got through it, and we're sweet now.
What's the feeling like, with at the Sharks at the moment? Because I feel like yes, like last year, obviously you'd want to finish higher, but I don't think it was actually a bad year for you guys, in my opinion. Anyway, what's the feeling like right now for you boys?
No, it's good. Like everyone's got their opinions of our team and what we went through last year. I think if you look back on what we've kind of come through now, we had salary cap problems. We had a couple of the boys. We've been hit with some players missing experience. I think I heard Doogie talk about it. A lot of things like that. And like, I'm not making an excuse for our team as well. We had the people to do it, and we fell short. But I definitely back our boys for the next couple of years coming up. And we're seeing what Penrith can do with a group of young boys. And
absolutely.
I'm pretty sure that we're next in line, I think, to do the work. So I'm more of a believer of let's talk in action, and I'm sure the fans and that are waiting on that as well. So when we can deliver, it'll be sweet.
Bloody oath. And also, like, I feel like a lot of people, because for some reason, even though that guys like Luke Lewis and guys like Paul Gallen, because those, and Jimmy Maloney also around that period, like, because they aren't seen or hyped as much as, say, a Thurston or a Cronk, you don't actually appreciate that losing them, it takes time to recover from losing such important people in the squad.
Right, I think Luke Lewis was massive.
Yeah, I was going to say him too, yep. Incredible.
Galza's, like, you touched on Galza as well. Like, when we lost him, like, that was a big chunk of leadership gone there. Like, I remember when I used to jump on the field with Galza, and that was my debut year, and I remember he used to just be like, boys, like, you just used to talk me through it, and I was like, oh, how crazy is this? And Wader's exceptional as well, and but I think we got the boys there that lead us, us young boys as well, like Doogie for the backs, and then we got Wader leading the forwards and that, and I think it's awesome, like, to still have those blokes there, and although we lost a fair bit of experience, with another year under our belt, I think we'll become better for it.
Absolutely, I really do believe that you're finding your identity. Last year you could see flashes of like, okay, this is the new Sharks. You can't be the same as what was before because you're not the same people as before. And I really did. I felt like there were periods where you were clicking. Obviously, Sean Johnson had one of the best career, incredible year. Townsend was out for a little bit. He got injured during.
I think he was injured and suspended.
And then Johnson as well. So, like, all things considered, I think you've set a good platform up for this year.
Yeah, like, we look back at last year, and we don't really want to touch on last year. It was a bit, it was inconsistent from us. That was my second year. A couple of our boys had their second year. Some had their first. Some were returning, like Sif Talakai, for a long time. And I'm still not trying to give us the excuse, but I think, like you said, we're going to become better for it. And I can't wait for the platform that we'll set. And the energy and the vibe around our boys now is definitely different to what we've had in the previous years. Okay, that's good as well. And also get young coach as well. And I think a lot of people it's not excuses, it's identifying problems and seeing where we can improve in that, in that area kind of thing. 100%. And as a young bloke, what you try and find is consistency in your footy. And I think as a player, I'll be the first one to admit that I definitely didn't have that, and I didn't bring it last year. And I think we got found out in the first round of the knockout, and it was a disappointing way to finish. But in other words, and maybe it was a blessing in disguise that taught us that if you play shit football throughout the year, or you play footy that just gets you through, finals footies, you find out. You get found out, and that's what happened, I think.
What was it like, second year of first grade and you go into the COVID break, the COVID bubble? Yeah. What was it, COVID?
Bro, that was hard because, like, the life of a rugby league player is like, man, you get to travel, you get to. I think the hardest trip was going back to Brizzy, where all my family was and stuff like that, and I had the bubble was hard in itself, and then to be able to see my family, and I hadn't seen them for the whole year. And they're literally right there, and all I wanted to do was reach over, give my mum a hug, and I was like, man, like she's right there. My little sister was waiting for me as well, and like all I had to do was just reach over this barrier, but I couldn't. Like it was like came at a cost, and that's the little sacrifices I had to take. And I was like, man, like that's the bit that really hurt. But other than that, like the bubble was hard, but I think when we think about the people that are doing it a bit more tough out there, and those are the people I think about before I think about myself. Like,
absolutely.
That kind of thing is harder than what I'm going through. Like I still get to do my job and keep my money, and that's all. I'm grateful for that, and
absolutely.
I'm happy.
I mean, it's good attitude, Dad, because you're totally right. Like, don't get me wrong, you can still say it was tough, but at the end of the day, he's very grateful to be able to,
I still got the chance to make money, so
exactly,
keep
exactly. All right, well, take us back to a young fella. Obviously, so you grew up. You were born in New Zealand or Samoa?
Born in New Zealand.
Yep.
And then grew up my whole life in South Auckland, Otara.
Wow, shit.
Otara,
South
mate. Yeah, I'm sure you've been
Otara. I tell you a story about South Auckland. So, in my whole life, as most people know, I grew up on the Gold Coast. So, like, we grew up, we don't have any money.
Yeah.
But, I mean, like, there's no rough areas on the Gold Coast.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Anyway, so we go to New Zealand. I get dropped into reserve grade, and they made us train out in South Auckland. And it was the first time, like, driving out there, it was the first time in my life where I felt threatened in the sense of, like, I am an outsider, and they're all looking at me. And this is a dangerous place. Not, there's so many places where like, oh, that's the hood. I mean, fucking give me a break. Like, most places aren't. There's a very small amount of places. Going to South Auckland was the first this is some heavy blokes out here.
Bro, I've seen some crazy shit there. Like, and I've seen dudes get robbed literally right in front of me. Like, it's just out the gate stuff like that.
Yeah,
dudes running around with machetes in a fight.
All
sorts of shit out there, bro. Like that. No kids should see, but that was our lifestyle.
Yeah. What was in your area? Was it like the mongrel mob? Was it who was the kind of?
Oh, we had a couple of Black Power.
Yeah.
A gang called Killer Bees. If anyone knows them, I'm sure some people would know them out there. But it was all little gangs as well. Like there was plenty of little gangs going around. I think like all the boys in the area would kind of get together, and as you do,
it's kind of like survival in a way.
Well, that's what I mean. It became that, and but Otara is my home, and I love that place. Like even though it is what it is, and when I go back home, I love driving around the area. I feel comfortable in it. Yeah. That's my happy place as well. And my grandparents still live there as well, and when I get the chance to get back, I just love driving around and seeing how far I've come. And what I got myself out of when I had the chance.
It's so interesting because we look at these people from the outside looking in. You don't actually understand that these areas, if everyone there could not have to deal with the stresses of the areas, they would.
Yeah.
But because of all, they've been forced to live there through, certain things in the past, there's still beauty in the area. You've just got to understand that there are some parts of it that you've just got to know it. You know what I mean?
Exactly. You got to make do, bro, with what you get given. Like, some of these kids, it's not their fault. Some of their parents are alcoholics or, drug addicts, and they're just getting dealt these cards, and it's just like, some people have got lucky and some haven't. I think it's for us, like the people that have come out of it, it's we still see it as a beautiful place because we know how to work with it. We know how to walk around the streets. We know how to be comfortable in that position. And
I guess also you understand that these aren't just a bunch of bad people. These are good people in tough situations, just doing their best.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Beautiful people there. People there. And they got the biggest hearts. And if you go and meet someone and have a good yarn with someone, it'll be, I think it will open you up to a whole new world. I think it's beautiful out there, and the people are amazing. So I do miss it a little bit, as funny as that sounds, but it is.
No, home's
home. So
home's home, bro.
But yeah, I'm happy to be from Otara, South Auckland, and I'm proud of it.
Like an oath. Okay, so at what point were you always into rugby league, or was it a decision, to get you away from certain things, or how did that come about?
I was into soccer, believe it or not.
Oh, really?
That's
why your name's Ronaldo, bro.
I was into soccer for a fair bit, bro. I was playing the right sport.
Yeah.
And then I remember I was watching my little cousin or something. He's just playing like a little junior game, and I was like, this looks like, I just love the contact and everything. I'm like, man, this looks brutal it looks fun. So I was like, spoke to my mum, bro. She's like, she's like, oh, I don't know. Like, but then the coach called me, a coach from Ellerslie Eagles, Coach Barry, and he's like, I'll come down, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, sweet. So I asked my mum, oh, can I get some boots? And she kind of laughed at me. She's like, she just thought like, oh, this is a one-off thing. She's like, nah, go find you some boots. And like, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh. So I went to the next door neighbor, bro, and I was like, you got some boots for me? Like, I need some boots. Bro, these boots are massive ass.
Just big clown boots.
And like, they were just talking about like massive rip in the front. And I was just like, fuck, like, I don't know what I'm going to do here. So I just strapped it. Like, I remember strapping it. And I remember this, and my mum goes like, that's one thing she said to me was like, you play a whole year in those.
Yep.
And like she'll buy me a new pair of boots the next year. And,
how good's that?
And I was like, all right, like I'm gonna stick to this. And
yep.
I managed to get it all right. And mum was like, all right, then like, you know, you seem to enjoy it. We'll give you some new boots. And
bro, that's how it was, bro.
Yeah,
even
exactly
for myself,
that.
man.
I was grateful as for that.
100%. And it's like, it's also, it's smart from your mum by saying like, you know, if you do this, you get rewarded for it, you know, and it gives you kind of a goal to achieve. Yeah,
exactly, bro. And I was like, that's all I had in my head that whole year. I was like, man, fuck, I can't wait to get
boots.
this. Yeah, I was like, and it was like these purple boots, bro, like these old Nike purple boots.
The
like
new ones or the ones you were wearing that were
like
old?
the new ones that I wanted to get.
Yeah,
and I was like, fuck, these purple, like, these just look like the mad shit. Like, everyone's got it. I want to be that guy.
Yep.
And then sure enough, it was out of date and I was getting it. I was like, I don't care if everyone else has moved on to the new boot. And I was just like, nah, I'm getting
They're the ones
I want. And
fuck, how good
fuck,
is that?
I'm going to have to get them. And I was like, yeah, I'm happy now.
So did you, in that first year, was it like, I love this game, this is sick?
Bro, like I just had heaps of energy. I was just like, no, I'll try and tackle everyone, try and run the ball as many times as I could. And I just enjoyed it. I was just like, fuck, like this is a whole new world from soccer. Like I get to be angry and physically fix it up. You know what I mean? Like in soccer, you can't really, what are you going to do? Steal the ball from him, like tackle him. And
oh my God.
I was like, nah, I want to be able to damage this dude. So it makes me feel better. And then obviously I got the chance to do that in rugby league. And ever since then, like I was real raw, didn't know any of the rules. Like I was trying to play union, like grab the ball in my first tackle. I remember like trying to to put it over and put the ball out. And my coach was like, oh mate, like that's not it. Like,
how old were you at this stage?
Oh, bro, I was pretty young. So like now I'm mixing up my ages, like
probably maybe 10 or something.
Yeah, it would have been like around that age, and I was just like, I just had no clue about rugby league. Never watched it.
Oh really?
That much. Like it was just like, state of origin. That's about it.
Yeah.
Because mum was into it, but yeah, like I used to be raw as no rules, just coconut and just run straight, like straight. Out the gate. Like I used to tackle my head like right in the middle, but I was just like, and I was like, oh,
how good's that?
Got some loose screws, that's for sure,
mate. That's a great story that you did it all for those boots, man. Like it's you know, for myself personally, I remember we were the only children at the state titles running on tartan in barefoot because we couldn't afford
the boots,
the spikes.
Oh yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah.
So we would, but the night before we would strap our. The night before we would get these things like Condi's crystals or something like that. It's like purple water, and our mum or dad we'd bathe our feet in the water, and it hardens the bottom of your water, and then we would tape our feet and run on tartan.
Bro, that's out the gate. That's crazier than me, bro. I never went to that extreme, but damn,
bro. And so there's pictures of us, everyone else in spikes, and our parents used to tell us it was because our bodies weren't ready to wear spikes yet. Like we weren't mature enough, but in reality, it's like to buy three pairs because like all of our family went to state. Like me, my brother, my sister, two sisters.
Yeah.
And so my first pair of spikes for sprinting were hand-me-downs from my brother that my dad got on a business trip real cheap in like in an Asian country. I can't remember, Kuala Lumpur. And so I can totally relate in that. Like these kids now, most kids nowadays, like pair of boots, 100%, like easy. Whatever, bro. When we were growing up, it was like pair of boots was like the Chrissy present, maybe.
Bro, like literally, right now, because obviously grade, you want to be looked after and stuff like that. And but I ordered one pair of boots, lad, and I like just go until they can't go no more. And the podiatrist is like, mate, you can't be doing that. Like that's where you're getting shin splints. That's where your knees are sore. I was like, fuck, like I just feel like I need to go all the way with these. Like these are the boots.
Get the use out of it.
Bro, my boots are just all crusty as, like been through everything. And the coach is just like, all the like staff are like, mate, you got to change your boots. You got to order new boots from who was sponsoring you and stuff. And I'm like,
bro,
that's tough.
When I first was at the Broncos, we were sponsored by Nike, and I've told this story a few times on the podcast, but basically, this was a time when there was no like worry about money. You just didn't check. We got new jerseys every game. Every game at the Broncos, we would rock up. There'd be a new jersey with a new print, new shorts, new socks. Every game. So it was like a different time, bro. Like nowadays, they wash it again, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, it was like one of my first days. We walk in, and there's like Matt Middleton is this like legend, like kind of like carries all the bags, that kind of stuff. He's been in the club forever, absolute legend. He walks us in, some of the younger boys. He's like, all right, boys, just come into this room here. We used to call it the Nike room, bro. We'd walk in, just Nike shit everywhere, and just take whatever you want, whenever you want.
But it's funny you say that because I seen it like in a video. Like they must have done like this video clip and used it rocked up. And I was young as, bro. And like Broncos, I used to love watching Broncos, and because of Darren Lockyer.
Yep.
Bro, and I remember seeing you all just rock up to this table, bro, and I was just like, bro, like that's the fucking dream there. Like, imagine getting to that point where you just rock up and there's a room, bang, bang, bang. And I was like, obviously times are different now, but I was like, fuck, I was chasing that as well. I was like, man, I want to be like that. Like,
oh, bro, I couldn't believe it. It was like, we even had the Nike guy in Australia or Queensland, but in Australia, we would have his number and we'd be like, bro, you see those new boots that have just come out? I want a pair of them. Boom, bang. Get sent to you. You'd have to be a first grader to do that.
Yeah.
But that's how crazy. Like we would get to our lockers and there'd just be like a stack of Nike shirts. And you know what's so crazy about how ungrateful young men are?
Oh shit.
We would like get cut if the Broncos would be like, mate, you got to wear a Nike shirt to this or that. And be like, oh man, oh fuck. And, and you look back now, you're like, bro, you're so ungrateful, bro.
Nike, seriously, you're getting angry about a Nike? Like,
yeah, exactly. But you get so accustomed to it and you don't actually appreciate what you've been given. The Nike room is just like you could honestly, anytime you wanted, you'd go in there, grab a pair of Nike boots. Fuck. Or shoes. They were just sitting there. And they never like tracked them, nothing. It was like just come in, boom.
I remember I used to always watch you and you guys used to have like all same boots or like heaps of dudes had the same boots. So good, and I was like, fuck, like the hype, like the pink bright ones, and I was like, fuck.
I've spoken about this theory before, but I honestly reckon, and I know you can't really speak about this because like you're still in it. I honestly reckon Broncos losing the Nike sponsorship really hurt them because like when you run across and you look at the Broncos and we're fucking kitted out in Nike, there is this thing in your head like big dogs. These are the fucking big dogs.
Even when cunts rock up with suits, bro, like teams rock up in big that's just business. Like
100%.
When they rock up with their suits and shit, I'm like, fuck.
Yeah,
this dude's not. They're not fucking around. Like they're here for business, bro, and that's the. And like I'm sure they feel like they're ready for business. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
You dress well, bro.
I feel like the person that made the decision with Nike or whatever happened in that situation didn't appreciate the impact Nike has on our culture, especially our age.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to you. Fuck the Broncos in my career. Sorry, bro. Totally hijacked your fucking potty. Okay, so at what point did you start to realise that you were excelling at rugby league?
I think it was pretty young. Like mum kind of said, like she was like, we're a young age, and she was just like, oh, do you want to move over? This is before we moved over. I think it was like 2014, I think, or something.
So 2014, you would have been like,
I was like 14, turning 15, I think, or something like that.
So you didn't have a contract with any club or anything like that?
Nah, nothing.
You were just going at school and at Auckland Grammar?
Nah, I was at a place called Marsland College. So it was like a place.
Marsland College in New Zealand?
New Zealand, yeah. So. And mum was just like, because we had been playing footy for a couple more years now, and like I really enjoyed it. Mum was just like to me and my brother, is this something you really want to do? We'll move over.
Wow.
And we'll try our luck. And I was just like, oh, it is. Like I looked at it pretty confident. I was like, this is what I want to do, and so we did it. Like mum just said, like we came from nothing too.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
And we just kind of got ourselves on our feet, and mum just said, yeah, sweet, we'll do it. Packed up everything, bro, and just said, like, we're taking you out of school. Let's move over.
That's incredible. The guts from your mum.
The balls from my mum. I was just like, who?
So was she a single mum?
Yeah. Oh, so she finally. So we obviously she met my stepdad at that time, and he's awesome. And so she just like she didn't even care what he said. Always like
it was about the kids and
about
giving you opportunity.
Yeah, about giving us the best life. And I think she like just said, nah, we're doing it.
Wow.
And like just. Had the balls to sell everything or just take the rest to my grandparents' house and just said, let's go.
Far out.
Fuck, like, I think within a year or so, like, managed to move everything, get rid of everything, and then...
Do you remember first... Like, had you been to Australia before?
Like, I did for a holiday, or like a couple of holidays and that. Yep. I wasn't long, and I always said, like... I remember I used to mock my cousins, like, oh, you got... Like, you shit... like the way they talk, I was just like, you talk like an idiot. Like, I used to always mock them. I was like, man, you talk like an idiot. Like, you sound so stupid. And then like I was like, nah, Australia's just shit. Like, but I was heaps jealous of it. I was like Australia's just shit. But I was like heaps jealous because I was like, man, I'm here and I can see all their photos, and I was like, nah, like
jealous ones.
Yeah, the good old jealous. Like, nah, man. Like, and my cousins will laugh about it now if they listen. And I used to be like, nah, you look at your lingo and that. Blah, blah, blah. And they're like, oh yeah, whatever. But next thing I know, I'm landing and I was just out the gate. I was like, oh man, like this is the life. And I got to school, my first day of school, bro, and I was just like, fuck, like, this is
how good's this?
What
school did you go to?
Ipswich State. So
Ipswich State.
Yeah, so Philip Sami and that was with me as well, but even my time there was just fuck. Like I was just like, this is the best,
mate. It's
the best.
For people that don't, obviously a lot of Aussies listen to the podcast. In New Zealand like so beautiful. Like I cannot express to you how beautiful New Zealand is. But there's not much opportunity in New Zealand,
literally,
compared to like you just like for example like the minimum wage is like $11 or something. It's low as. So when you hear Kiwis that come over here and they're like, man, it's beautiful. Obviously the weather is beautiful, but it's also the opportunities that you get here.
That's what I felt when I got here. I was like, man, like this is where I can move myself into the dreams that I've always had in my head. And like I think when I was at school, like it was just like I got to school, my brother's like into the girls and that, and I was like different scenery, and I was like, this is, but I didn't know how to act because I was in real defensive mode. Like me and my twin brother and all my mates at school would say that too. Like I just didn't know how to act, but I was like always acting like someone was against me, like everyone was against me, and I was like, nah, this dude's against me. So I found it took a bit for me to kind of work out everyone is not against me, like it's just cruisy, and it. Like
a young man moving country, you have that defensive mechanism to just protect yourself.
Exactly, man. I was just like, nah, like these dudes don't even like me. I want to fight them. Or if anyone looked at me wrong, all of a sudden my shoulders went up. Like I was like, oh. Now that I look back at it, I'm like, fuck, this is gonna be tough, dude. Like I was like, what an idiot. And then, like obviously, I worked my way through there. And
so at this stage, what team did you support?
Bro, I was Brisbane Broncos. I was like a mad Broncos.
So this would have been like what 2016?
Yeah, I was about 15, like even younger, bro. I was supporting them for like a fair bit, just because of Darren Lockyer, like simply.
So gone. Like he's the goat to me.
But and I just loved Darren Lockyer. He was the idol, and I was just like, fuck, like Darren Lockyer is the man. Yeah. And so that's why I supported him. So I was around like 14, 15.
They made the finals 15.
Yeah, and I remember that too. Like,
what do you remember? Obviously, we lost.
Yeah, what happened? I was with my brothers, and we were all going for Broncos, and then fuck, when the foul like scored, and then when the kick, I was like, fuck. And so like it was a pretty sad day in the house. I was pretty pissed off. Yeah, but I was still with Sharks as well. Like I was like, oh, like this is like Sharks is still lit.
So you still you had a contract with Sharks, or you just also supported Sharks?
It was more so like come down and train at the end of the year. Do you know how they do those little development camps?
Yeah,
where, like, they bring everyone in.
Was it an elite one or just a develop one?
Yeah, it was like a development. Like no one was signed to them. It was just like we bring these kids in, and then train. And it was like,
was any other clubs interested?
Not that I know of, bro. Like, I remember my mates used to always go to the Broncos elite. Do you know we used to be running that elite stuff?
Yeah, there was like at the Broncos there was an elite camp, and that was like, probably maybe 30 kids that were either contracted or whatever, and they were like, 15 of them probably went into the Colts, and then maybe 5 of them went into reserve grade for Broncos, and then there was development, and that was just like fucking heaps of kids that most of them wouldn't make it.
I used to get like real like salty because like heaps of the boys, like not really salty because I was like always enjoyed my mates, but I used to be like hurt because I was like, man, like I want to be there. Competitive, and I was like, fuck, I want to get there. And all the heaps of my mates used to be in those programs, and I was like, fuck, like that's the dream there. And obviously Sharks popped up, and I was going down there, and then by the time I had my last year, before I knew it, school went by quick, and they have an awesome program there with Lee Addison was running it, a coach that used to be here. I think he coached Teddy in school.
Oh really?
Yeah. So and then before I knew it, I was in Cronulla. And
so did they offer you a contract?
Yeah, so they said so 2000, I think it was like I hadn't come in for SG Ball, and that was my last year. And they kind of said, we'll give you SG Ball to prove yourself. And I kind of went all right, managed to make the 18s SG Ball squad for Queensland. And then they kind of just said, we'll give you a 20s contract for 2 years, and then we'll give you 13 weeks of preseason with Cronulla
Who's that?
And they were like that's all we can offer you is 13 weeks.
So the 13 weeks with preseason with first grade?
First grade, yeah.
And was that in your first year with of the contract in 20s or the second year?
It was my second year, so...
Okay, so you played 20s for a year.
20s, yeah.
And then you got that start in the squad for first grade when it comes to training for 13 weeks.
Yeah. So I messed my shoulder up, actually, like in, I think it was like 2017. Yeah, 2017, I messed my shoulder up. And then I did it again in 2018. And that was I was leading into my first preseason.
Okay.
And I just had mad head noise because,
bruh.
you're going in with like...
You don't want to go to rehab in your first...
Yeah. And I was in rehab for a bit, when I rocked up to first grade, and I was just like this is not it. So I had like probably 10... They brought it back down to like 10, 9 weeks to prove myself. And I just knew, bro, I was like, I got 10 to 9 weeks to make something of this, or else, fuck, I'm back on the shovel.
Yep.
And I kind of just made sure that was in the back of my head every day was, fuck, you can go shovel up someone's dirt for them, or you can do this for the rest of your life, and or most of your life. So, and I was like, nah. I kind of made my mind up there, like, nah, fuck, I'm not going back to that shovel. Not anytime soon. So, and that's where I kind of got my start.
So, do you remember your first? Is there a session that you remember rocking up and going, bruh, there's Luke Lewis and there's Gal or whatever?
Fuck, I was like, so Gallo obviously doesn't come back. Then how they order and come back to after Christmas kind of thing. So I kind of waited for them the next year, but I was always training for the other boys, and I was like, oh, like this is still cool. And I kind of just took it and I running with it. And then Christmas came by after Chrissy. Fucking Moisa rocks up, like
the big dogs.
The big dogs rock up, and they're all together obviously. And I'm just like, fuck, like this is this real way that comes through. And they're all talking about their holiday stories, and I'm just sitting there fangirling like behind the pack. Like I remember this time, like they were walking, and I'm just behind them, like having a little giggle on the side, like my ears are out, like just like fuck yeah, that's a bad story, like. And I'm trying not to laugh too loud so they don't think I'm hearing and shit like that. Nah, it was good. Like I could, like when I seen him, I was just like, fuck, I was so starstruck. Like Andrew Fafita and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I couldn't stop like staring at him. I was like, fuck, I'm the biggest fangirl at the moment. Like I didn't even care too. I was like, fuck, I'm not shy. I didn't care.
100. Well, a lot of people, they don't realize like when you see them, you're like, all you can think in my experience, like, fuck, they're the big dogs, you know, like all you think is like, that's the NRL boys, like they're the fucking, like, look how professional they are, like, look how everything they do is fucking another level. And so you do get taken back a bit because you're like, they're just on this other level until you get to it, obviously.
Exactly, yeah. And I kind of like was too busy fangirling, and then J-Moz comes in, and I was just like, fuck, like J-Moz, like this is, it just gets better and better, and J-Moz was massive for me. And then like, fuck, I just remember like, we had our first kind of training session, and Chaddy came back and everyone, and I just, fuck, it was so intense. I was like, so what we did before Chrissy, I thought, well, fuck, that's the level. Bruh, and when the 13 boys came back, or the senior boys, I was like, holy shit. Like,
not even close.
Not even, bruh, I was like, this is nowhere near close. And then they were just like, fuck, I remember we fucked up a couple of drills, bruh, and oh shit, they just let loose. Like, if you want to F and play first grade, like, then you better be up to the standard. If not, F off back to 20s, and like they were just like that. But
and that's people don't realize, like, they'll say that. That like any squad with elite athletes in it will say, boys, if you don't want to fucking have a crack, fuck off, get out of here.
Well, that's what it was. Like, I remember this one time, bro. Like as a young kid, you're like, fuck, you don't really think. Like I remember a kick went behind us, and I always tell the story because it was fucked. Like it gave me nightmares. And like, you know how the halfback and the wingers are meant to be there back first and take the first kind of carries, and but I was cruising down, like I was just like, fuck, my head was off, I had the pumpkin on, we just finished con. It's like, I'm not running back there. Switch off. But Chatty runs right past me and just fucking spits in my face. Like, he's just like, you fucking...
Well, like yells in your face.
Yeah, he's not spitting yet, but he's just like... He probably didn't realize, he's just spitting. If I fucking say, get the fuck at the back. And I was just like, oh shit, like... He's like, then you fucking get there and take the first carry. And he's like, you better be the fucking loudest person there. And I was like, oh, shit, all right. So then that kind of stuck with me for the whole preseason, bro. And I was like, oh, I would be the loudest one at the back. The first one back. And he just fucking ran hard. And I remember he was just like... And that kind of stuck with me. As well as... Remember after the session later, because Val was still like in talks with the NFL. And he had kind of gone. I think he was just like, oh, I'm on my way out. And he had made his decision. And I remember Wado came up to me and he was like, kid, if this is what you want to be doing, there's like open field there for you. there's opportunities for you to take. It's up to you. And I kind of took that serious. I took it personal. Like for him to come up to me and say, there's opportunity. And I was like, fuck, I'll make sure that opportunity.
Senior players don't say that unless it's a real thing.
But, and that's how I took it. I was like he wouldn't just talk to any other junior player. Like he came up to me and he's like, he probably doesn't even realize it now that he said that. And he's like, no, there's opportunity there for you. And now it's up to you.
Yep.
Show us what you got. And I was just like, fuck, all right, like I'll show you what.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, I'll put my best foot forward. And I remember that year, bro, I was just, fuck, everything happened so quick.
Yep. Because so you were still essentially contracted to 20s at that stage.
Yeah. Yep. And I went back I went back and played 20s against North Sydney, bro. And then also I played debut cup, and then they dropped me. I had to go back down to 20s.
Oh, fuck.
And I fucking, it was funny as like, I managed scoring 3 tries there and then got pushed back up.
Yeah.
And then just never went back down to 20s ever since then. And fuck, before I knew it, I was dropping 3 balls from Anthony Milford in my debut.
Oh, really? Okay, I didn't know that. Walk us through your debut then. Okay, so how did the debut come about? Do you remember the conversation?
No, nobody believes me, but everyone that's in the fucking tunnel, bro. So I was just getting taken down as an 18-man. Like, I was like, fuck, like this is mad. Out of all the trips, Brizzy trip, fuck yes.
Perfect.
Fly down, bro. Walking into Qantas Lounge, I got no idea what I'm doing, bro. You know, you meant to only put like a little bit of in your plate. I was like, fucking stacking there, bro. I was like, I didn't care.
And all the like veterans are like sitting there with their copy of their newspaper. They've been there a million times.
Bro, waiter and they're just playing their little golf on their phone. Fuck, I'm lost as, lad. I'm just like,
feel awkward as.
Like, fuck, I feel like a rude dude before this, but I didn't care. Drinking fizzy too, bro. I was like, full up to that, like, no idea, just drinking this fizzy off this like fizzy machine, and I was like, fuck, I didn't care. Like, I'm just gonna enjoy it. And then, like, I remember we were going through the week, boys are getting prepared, and I was like, oh, I'm not gonna be playing anyway. I shaved my head, lad. Like, so I just shaved it for the shits and gigs. I thought, like, obviously I'm not gonna play, so I was like, fuck it, I'll just shave my head. So these dudes came in, but I shaved my head baldy, lad, and I was like, fuck. And then we ran out, warm up, and I was saying hello to my family, and I was still like buzzing out, like, fuck, this is the big time.
But still in your head, you're like, I'm not playing.
Yeah, like, I'm not.
There's no pressure.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, it's no real pressure. I just get through this warm up and go shower and fucking sit outside like a mad dude. And then, bro, like literally, Doogie ran right before me through the pads. So we were doing our last drill, run through the pads, and I was next. I just ran through, and so everyone was just running into the shed. I was just cruising, but I was like, oh, like I'm done. My job's done here. Like, the biggest job of all. Started showering, lad. But then I kind of saw the coaching staff started whispering around. Oh, no. And I was like, fuck, like, nah, not about me.
And your head's not in that space,
man. But
man.
Literally, and I'm just relaxing now. I'm like, fuck, I'm showering. And then a guy called Shane Smith comes up to me, bro, and he's like, you're debuting. And I'm like, I was like, bro, is this dude for real? He's
That's
like,
torture,
bro. He's like, come out, mate. We need to talk to you. So, bro, I had to go chase the kit, man. Grab my kit out of it because I chucked it all in the bag. Grabbed all my kit out, bro, and
re-strap as well.
Re-strapped because I took everything off. Like, I didn't even do my shoulder. That's how, like, because I took my shoulder shit off.
Wow,
like, nah,
that's gonna mess with your head.
But I was like, fuck, I'm far gone. Head noise from there. And then
you've got to be like, for any NRL game, you've got to be so fucking ready. So for you to be sitting there in a shower going, this is great.
Bro,
it's just not the right space.
I was like just about to grab my soap and just start fucking like greasing myself up, and then. Bro, I was like, oh, what do you mean? And then coach goes, you're up, buddy. So I thought it was going to be Billy Magulius. I was like, oh, nah, Bill's surely going to, because he's, older.
Yeah.
Bowman comes up to me, he's like, you're up, buddy. And Doogie's there in tears because he wants to play. And I'm like, he turns around to me and goes, good luck, kid. Like, this is your time now, blah, blah. Fuck, I had my kid on, bro. I walked down, the boys are waiting for me. They're already getting ready to line up.
No way.
And they're all like tapping me out, like, yeah. Bruh, there's 4 pre-workouts. Fuck, I just went up, smacked every single one of them. No. And I was like, fuck. So I didn't even think. I was just
not thinking,
I'm just not thinking. I'm just like, smack. Yeah. Did a little 1, 2, 3, Cronulla. I started walking out, bro. And before I knew it, I was just like shoulder to shoulder with Sean Johnson on my other side. And I had Mozzle. And I was just like, fuck,
what's
this
happening
is crazy,
right
bro.
Now?
Like,
and you're in Suncorp?
It's Suncorp, bro. And it was like, what was the Army round or Anzac round, sorry. Yeah. And it was packed out because I was like, fuck, I was nervous.
Suncorp's fucking great. But it's also, it can be scary.
It was great, but I was like, fuck, this is so hostile. Like, I'm meant to be at home and this is how I'm feeling. And then I just remember like, fuck, it was... And then like after the whole ceremony stuff, the fireworks went off and I shit myself. I was like, So I was like, fuck. I looked around. I was like, oh, shit.
So you're just like not in their headspace.
Heads off.
Yeah.
And then, sure enough, Milford in that. I remember Cody Nakarima and Milford. Like, they were just pointing at me. And I was just like, fuck. And they were just like, and I had Corey Oates. He's
big
boy, bro. And I was like, fuck. Like, okay, where do I even start tackling this dude?
Yeah.
And I just remember Milford, bro. If anyone's ever caught Milford's bombs or seen it,
got a good
bro, just straight in the air. And I dropped about 3 or 4 of them that night. Oh. And the head was off, lad. And I was just like, fuck. That was probably the worst Cronulla Sharks debut anyone's had. And I was just like, I didn't really care because I was like, fuck, I didn't care. I debuted. Like,
I mean, it's like two things. You're like, you care, but at the same time, you're like, this is a lifelong dream. Like, I just want to embrace it a little bit, you know?
Well, exactly. And I was like, fuck, I don't know whether to be sad or like happy. Like, so I was just like, my head was in a like swirl, and I was like, fuck. But I knew I was kind of like, the next day, once it all kind of finished, I was like, fuck, like, that did not go to plan. Like, I was just like, fuck, I waited fucking how many years to put up that. And I just...
What did the coach say to you or any of the boys?
I think he kind of felt sorry for me. So he's just like...
He gets it.
Yeah, I feel bad for chucking in the deep end. No, we should have brought Sione Katoa up, blah, blah. But I kind of took it personal. I was like, fuck, like, my boys, I feel like I let them down. I was like, oh, that hurt me and it was burning inside me. And I kind of got rocked by that. Like, my confidence got hit real bad.
Absolutely.
After I was like, fuck, man, like... And I had never played wing, bro. Like, that's the worst thing about it.
Oh, what did you play usually?
I was a centre, bro. Centre
okay.
fullback. So
wow.
I played all my Cronulla time at centre. Never played winger, cuz. And then...
Wow.
And
debuted at winger, you never played it.
Never played
and
winger.
It's a very different position.
Exactly. Bro, I didn't even know how to pendulum properly. I didn't even know, like, nothing. So, and I was just like, fuck, like, I don't even know what's going on.
So the debut from hell.
From hell, exactly. And I was like, fuck. And I remember sitting there and I was rocked as, and I was like, my confidence was like in balance. And I was like, this can go 2 ways. You either fucking put your best foot forward and stand up and show like you got some fucking balls to keep going on, or you just fucking go into your little hole and get washed out the back. And I was like, fuck this. I'm going to, like, I wasn't a winger, but I'm not going to make an excuse for myself. I'm going to do as many catches as I can, like try and get my shit together. And I managed to do it, but I was like getting better at it. And then I remember we went to New Zealand, 18 man again.
Oh, but I'm sure this time I'm keeping
this
my
time
head
I was like, fuck, I'm keeping my head on, cuz.
Yeah.
As a grey pulls out a day before and it gets flown back home because he's got a swollen knee. It was like my second game. Fucking, I remember the coach comes up to me at captain's run. And like they had an idea of it too, and they're like, "Oh mate, do some catches." Like that's what I do. They were like, "Fuck," they're scared of me catching the ball.
Yeah.
But fuck, I managed to go alright at it, and then I think I was 18 man bar for. I played 8 games that year. I was 18 man for about 7 of those games.
Wow.
And played every one of those.
That's very rare.
Bro, exactly. And I was like, all the boys were like, what? Who does that? Like, you're 18 man and you come in. But I was coming in on a captain's run, like, or that day, and I was just like, fuck.
That just doesn't happen regularly. 18th man barely ever play.
But exactly. And out of the 8 games I played, I was 18 man for 7 of them, and I played all 7. And I was like, this is fuck. Like,
I mean, if you ever needed a test of mental like to know that you need to get your head right, at least that taught you that.
Right, exactly. And I was like, now, like every time I came out as an 18 man, or it came out on the kind of draw, I was in the 21, I just knew like, fuck, don't be like I was in the first grade, my first debut. I was like, I'm not doing that again.
Fucking so hectic. Like I can't express how much you need to be in the zone when you play. Bro. Otherwise, it can just turn into a disaster.
That was the biggest lesson I've ever learned. I was like, fuck. Like, and now that anyone else is 18 man and they're like kind of coming in first, I'm like, bro, I'm telling you now, keep your head on the whole way. It's hard to tell someone because like, it's like, no one's going to get injured.
Okay, so later that year, you get selected in... you played in the Newtown State Champions victory over Burleigh Bears.
So we had Mad Monday, bro. I was getting pissed up. And then, I remember...
So you'd already won... You'd won New South Wales Cup, and this is... So you celebrate that, and then the next week you've got the...
Yeah.
Against the...
I remember when we got knocked out of grade, because I was still first grade, I was suspended that week.
Yep.
And we had Mad Monday celebrations, but I was carrying on like a goose all the way to Thursday. Get this call on Thursday. Yeah, mate, come in and start training for the semi-final of Cup.
So you didn't know that you were even...
So I didn't even know. And I was just like, fuck, like, are you serious? And he's like, yeah, mate, you got to come in. And I was like, oh, all right then.
Yeah.
And I was hungover as... And I remember I rocked up. We had won that against Dragons. And then that took us to the final. I won that final against, I think I got concussed or something. Something happened.
Yep.
And then Will Kennedy and stuff obviously scored that try. Billy Magoulias, the special foot.
Fucking Magoulias.
Yeah, the good old Magoulias. And then Big Dossa. And then fucking we went into that national. Bro, and I remember their trainer, the Burleigh Bears trainer, bro. Like, we got into there and he was just feeding us like.
Oh, it's sprained this trainer.
The trainer, bro. Like, they would even, Burleigh Bears, they would surely know this. And he was just, like, personal shit too. Like,
is he an ex-player or just a trainer?
I don't even know who the hell he is. And he just started, like, full personal, bro. Like, and I was like, fuck, like, this dude's pissing me off.
I've never heard of that in my life, a trainer.
He was the worst, bro. Like, he did more talking than the players. And they had it all over us. Like, and to be fair, they probably deserved to win that final. But this trainer was just giving it to, like, he can't defend.
Yeah.
Like, he's a little blah, blah, blah. Like, just full out the gate, like, talking about our families in there. And I was just like, this dude, I was like, I'm going to whoop this dude's ass. If we lose, I'm definitely going to get his ass. And he was just going hard at us. And I was like, fuck, like, this dude, bro.
That's weird, bro.
It's weird. And I said, that's what pissed me off was, like, out of all the grades I've been to, I've never had someone, the trainer come at me. And I was like, what are you going to do to trainer? You can't fix him up.
Yeah,
like,
no way. That's
bro. And so
weird.
Fuck, and then when we scored that last try on the bell, bro. Fuck.
So did he kick to you, Magoulias, in that try?
Yeah, so he was going to get kicked to me, and I think they all thought I was going for it, which I was, and we were all going for it at this one point. Fuck, it just bounced straight back out of everyone.
Yeah, yep.
And Jackson Ferris picks it up and runs the whole way. Fuck, I went straight to the trainer, bro. Like, I feel bad because, like, went up to him. I was like, oh, you're fucking quiet now. Like, I was like, so, and then the NRL guys separated us and was like telling me, like, nah. I was like, nah, this dude wants to bring up personal shit. Like, this is beyond like that. And I was just like, off. My head was off.
Yeah.
I think I was just more happy that we won as well. So
yep. So he was spraying his whole game, and then when you scored, you were like, "Well, fuck you."
So I celebrated with them when they scored a try. Fuck, I went straight to the sideline, lad, before the kick was even kicked, and I was like, "Oh, you're fucking a bit quiet now." Like,
yeah.
I was like,
Hey, you live by the gun, you die by the gun.
And to his credit, lad, he stood up and he's like, "Oh, like shook my hand." He's like, "Sweet," and I get that it's footy, but it's a game of footy, but. Fuck, like, I was just like, I've never had a trainer spray me that hard.
That's crazy.
And actually get under my skin. I was like, fuck, that's great. But like, now that I look back at it, I have a good laugh.
Yeah, absolutely. It's cool to remember as well. It's just that unique thing of the grand final. Right. And so what was that feeling like? You get that match, the team gets a match winner where you're just like, mate, this is fucking so good.
That shit just never happens. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's shit you dream of, like, winning games like that. And fuck, I just remember the celebrations after that, bro. Like, the biggest carry on of doing, and like, I think it was good for the people of Newtown. Like, there were old men in there in tears, like, just crying, bro.
They're like one of the most, outside of North Sydney Bears, they might even actually be older than North Sydney Bears. I'm not sure, but they are a heritage.
They're a proud club, and it was awesome, bro. Because like, on Mad Monday, just everything got looked after. Like, the mayor of Newtown was like, full. We'll pay for your boat. Like, he's like, full saying, we'll fix the boat up. Alcohol and stuff like that. And as you do, you get a bit loose to the boys. And fuck, we had a good time there, bro.
That's sick, bro.
It was so sick, bro.
So good. And so you do a bit of charity work too, don't you?
Yeah. So I work with a special place called Stepping Stone House. That's for vulnerable kids that have being neglected as young people, and I try and look after. They're the ones who do the real work. Like we spoke about earlier, this is a platform to share our things and get things out there. And what better way to do it than through an athlete and I definitely put my hand up. I said, I'd love to get a part of this. And the CEO is actually my old homestay dad.
Oh, no way!
So I had really worked with these kids and everything, and. I found it as a great, because I can't, like, how am I going to give back to a rich man? Like, he's a really rich, whatever he needed, he was going to get. So I said, like, this is my way of giving back, is let me, like, help you be an ambassador. And
so you had stayed with him before?
Yeah, so I stayed with him up until the COVID situation.
Oh,
so
okay.
literally, like, last year, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Until we weren't allowed to live with.
So you were living in Ipswich and you got the contract with Cronulla and you lived with him.
So I came straight here with the family and stayed with them, the Jason Juretic and the Juretic family. And so like, I just didn't know how to repay him. Like, and I was leaving as well, the house, and I was like, I think this is an awesome way to repay him as well as get my kick out of it.
Yeah,
which is helping
absolutely.
these young kids. And so yeah, we teed it up, got it all sorted, and we ran a few campaigns last year. The Get Five, which went awesome for what it was, and sleeping under the stars event. But yeah, I think we as a collective, and I think they're the ones who do the main work. And I encourage everyone to get out there and do your part. Like $5 goes a long way, and it's hard to ask for it during these times as well. And I think a small percentage of like that goes a long way. That goes to feed a kid, for housing for a whole year or her, and
So where can they go to donate if they want?
So where you can go is directly to the site, Stepping Stone House. They'll be more than happy to take donations there, and I just encourage anyone to jump on any charity. I think it's a way to give back to this world, and I think for us fortunate people, and I'm sure there's plenty of us there, and if we give $5 a day, I think that goes a long way. Like
absolutely,
it
doesn't really hurt them if you're okay. Obviously, if you're struggling for money, then
Yeah. If you're struggling, then fair enough. I definitely. But for those that got that bit of a coin on them, I encourage everyone to kind of get out there and support someone and put their best foot forward in that.
And you played for America. What was that like?
Right, out the gate, I rocked up my first day. They're all old dudes, all cool guys.
Yeah.
And this guy Khalil, bro, he's got this big chain. I rocked up, bro, this big chain. The good old sweatshirt.
Yep.
And he's got his 3/4 skins. Those basketball skins, man. He's got these thick shoes. I'm like, bro, this dude's dripped out. And then I look on the other side of the room. This one I was like, 20 or something.
Yeah.
I look on the other side of the room, bro. These dudes got cowboy hats on.
No way, just a totally different.
Bro, it's two. One's just hardcore, typical American athlete, and the other's cowboys, bro. Just cowboy jeans on, belts. I was like, far out, what's going on here?
Yep.
And I was just like, bro, this is definitely.
And so putting on that jersey, was that fun? Just to be able to put on that, it's an American jersey, isn't it?
Yeah, it was good, bro. The jersey's mad. I was like, fuck, this is some mad kit.
Yeah.
It's a great opportunity, and I still want to excel in that team as well, and bring their team out, and just encourage all the other American Samoans to jump aboard. And obviously our first one is Samoa, because it's Samoa's our heritage, and where we feel strongly we're connected to. But USA is still there, and I loved it. I enjoyed it, and it was a good opportunity.
Did you go to USA?
Bro, so I was meant to, but they came here, so we had camp here. But I was meant to go there, but
that would have been sick.
Yeah, so we were meant to roast the cookies.
Oh, really?
The World Cup thing, and I remember my coach was like, "Nah, you really been carrying on." Bomber was like, because I was meant to go over to Jacksonville and carry on a fair bit there too. I was trying to get off preseason, so I was like, the longer you go, reps and that,
you can get off preseason.
Yeah, so I was like, "Fuck, I'm gonna go there."
But you're a young developing player.
Yeah, and he was just like, "Nah, get your ass here. You'll be starting training. Get ready to go again." I was like, all right, fair enough. I've had a fair break, so I was like, yeah, cool. But yeah, that's how I went out.
And so, but you're also eligible for Queensland, correct?
Yeah, which is funny. I'm a New Zealand Queenslander.
Yeah, Kiwi, Queenslander, Samoan.
Yeah, American
Samoa.
All the boys give me stick about it, choose your culture. I was like, bro, I don't know at the moment, but I enjoy it.
But would you love to play for Queensland if it ever came up?
Love to, bro. Yeah. Mum, every time Queensland win in there, brings mum to tears. She loves it.
Wow.
I got my brothers in there. Some of them are New South Wales. And she just full locks him out of the house, doesn't give a shit, bro. And they'll sit in the car for ages until and she'll be like, "No one fucking open the door."
Yeah.
For them, she, anyone touch the door, but it's hostile as.
Yeah.
And my brothers always G her up, how'd you like that? And so it was good for them to get the win this year.
So was she a Queensland fan before she moved to Queensland?
Way before.
Really? Because Origin's relatively big in New Zealand.
Bro, massive. And they're massive Queenslanders there too. So, and mum just. Bro, every year, that's why I remember rugby league was that arena was the Origin, and I was like, fuck, and I think for my mum, if she ever got that chance, if I ever got that chance to represent her, bro,
be hectic
out the gate. I would feel complete, fuck,
that's it.
That's
you
that's
can't,
me done,
bro. That's you can't give. Obviously, putting on the Australian jersey or Samoan jersey is that's great, but Origin when it comes to footy,
bro,
it's that arena, bro.
I rate that as the pinnacle of rugby league.
Absolutely.
I think where the standard is.
When it comes to rugby league, that's the standard. Obviously, there's you representing your country is a beautiful thing, deeper than rugby league. But I totally agree. Totally agree. So this next, how long so you re-signed with Sharks 2019, end of 2019?
Yeah, and then I did an extension last year.
Yeah. And so how long do you extend for?
Extra 3 years.
Wow. So what? You won't come off contract till what, 2024?
23. I think so. Yeah, 24. I don't even know. At this point.
Fuck, how good's that?
Just trying to take the
Bit of
years
security.
Yeah, and that's why I did it. I was like, obviously I had my knee surgery last year, and I was like, man, I really want to lock myself down and be able to have that security of money income and that, especially to help my family out and stuff like that. And that was I felt like that was the right way to go. And of the young crew that are coming through Cronulla, I think, we got the chance to do something special these next coming years, and I think we've got the right team to do it.
Absolutely. You've got the foundation for it. It's up to you boys where they are. It's not like you're a club that's fucking sitting 16th and it's a rebuilding phase. Like you've got the squad to genuinely push into that top 6, top 4.
Yeah.
And so if everything happens perfect in the next 12 months, what are you doing?
Fuck, bro. Hopefully I'm pushing my way closer to Origin. I want to be able to that. But first of all, I want to, bring success to this club. As the perfect thing for me is I'm a passionate Cronulla boy, and although I'm not about it, I'm not from it, sorry, I'm definitely about it. I want to put my best foot forward there. I just want to be able to say at the end of the year that, I put my all into this year, and I was one of the best coming wingers coming out. And that's all I want to be known for, is just this year is someone that worked hard for the team and put his best foot forward every week for the team, played consistent footy, and inch my way closer to our Origin jersey if I could.
Mate, it's there. It's right there.
Yeah,
it's like even though the Queensland won this year, you wouldn't say there's a cemented. You've got Coates, but you wouldn't say he's cemented. Even though he did great, and whatever, and not whatever. But there's, as I said, it's not like obviously Valentine would keep that spot. You'd think, but because it's such a young side, movement can happen. It's not like the 8 in a row side where you're like, nah, bro, you're not taking fucking...
like no one's going to take Darius Boyd and GI and that's...
Or Brent Tate or whoever it was.
Exactly.
Favourite rapper of all time?
But we spoke about this.
Yeah, we did.
Drake, I love the way he is. J. Cole, bro, just the way they...
Yeah,
I'm not all about the spitting rubbish stuff. Like some people love it. Like
you can vibe to it.
Yeah, you can vibe to it, exactly. Like,
but you're not going to remember it.
Yeah, I'm not going to... That shit will get me thinking, and I like stuff that gets me thinking, and we spoke about it last time. Like Drake just gets you grooving and thinking, like kind of thing. And
as I said, bro, like there was years there where I didn't respect him enough, and I just thought that he was a manufactured pop star. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, I always thought he was talented.
Yeah,
and I always thought that he was released good music, but there was a part of me was like, man, I didn't know whether he had staying power.
Yeah.
And there was just something about him I didn't like, whereas I've kind of done a full 180 and I'm like, he's one of the best.
Yeah. Nah, he's definitely up there. Him and J. Cole, bro.
If you said to me Drake writes every single one of his lyrics, I'd be like, bro, he's nearly a GOAT. So I don't know whether he does or he doesn't, but the ghostwriter stuff that Meek Mill said is that's like, fuck, I don't know. Whereas like J. Cole, he writes his shit.
That shit's, he's sitting there writing that shit out, busting it up. That's why I was like, my brothers love J. Cole, bro, and I was just like, fuck, like J. Cole.
He's the man.
He's the man.
I loved his song 1985.
Bro, 1985. Even when he like just whole Cold World, bro. I was just like, I love that, bro. Like, and just the way he is, like, he goes about his stuff. Like, he's just a real down to earth bloke, bro. And
humble, respectful, but he's a gun too.
He's a gun, bro. And if he wants to fire someone's ass up, fuck, I'm sure he got it. You know what I mean?
Fucking oath he does. Fair. That 1985 track to Little Pump was just like, so Little Pump just kept dissing him, and then he just like suns him.
Yeah,
but he does it in a respectful way.
Like, and he just doesn't subtle, like, just you got to figure it out kind of thing. And it's only between him and Little Pump. Like, that's what I love about it. It's like, not everyone knows what's going on. Yeah, but Little Pump will know, like,
absolutely,
and like the people that kind of get on that rhythm and float will know, like, just he's hitting him where it hurts, and I love that shit.
Yeah, fucking oath, bro. Fucking oath. Favorite movie of all time?
Blindside, bro.
Blindside.
Yeah,
that is a great movie, and it's true too, which is hectic.
Big Michael Orr. I felt like that when I moved to my homestay family. They
really?
Laugh about it. Yeah. So they call me Michael Orr.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that's fucking mad. Because I mean, I guess there are similarities because you're staying with that first period. You don't really know them that well, so it's like,
bro, so weird.
Yeah, like you're like walking in a dinner, and it's like, oh, fuck.
Bro, like the first dinner, I was like, fuck, like
this is weird,
just like
bro.
keeps like standoff. Like,
Yeah,
fuck, I don't
barely talking probably.
barely
just like,
talking. Yeah,
fucking Jesus.
don't want to help myself to the fridge. I was like, fuck this.
Yeah, and like you can't just go down and grab something.
Fuck, I'll just sit in my room, starve. I was like, fuck it.
I'll just go down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it, bro. Thank you
That's
so much
it.
for coming on.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate that.
Legend, brother. Boom.